way, like down a side street. I mean, we can take a look on Google Maps. It was Water Street, which is right here. You can see the 2 blocks here. That is Water Street. And if we line it all up, oh, here's more of Water Street here. So it could be just this whole section here. So the ambulance, let me try and figure out where this is.
Give me 2 seconds.
Okay, because if the ambulance is turned off through a crowd, why has no one? Ron, there is an ambulance in front of it. Right, hang on a sec. I don't know, mate. Did the ambulance, is it off camera? Or is it a way off down here somewhere? Look at the other footage. It's directly in front. Okay. I mean, I'll believe the tailgating situation, but you've got to explain how in the hell this car was allowed to follow an ambulance. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm still not seeing an ambulance in any of this footage. There's an ambulance in this piece of footage. It's a stationary ambulance. And I can show you some of the footage of after it all happened. I sent you a DM of the footage. Who's that? Bailenstein. Let me take a look. Yeah, so here's the thing. You're not wrong. Let me just show you. So that is indeed an ambulance, okay? But honestly, that looks to me like an ambulance parked at the side of the road.
Ambulance is miles away from that car.
Way in the distance. So arguably, yeah, you could say that there is an ambulance in front of it, but
they can't even say they thought it was a doctor, because when a doctor uses an unmarked car, they still have the blue light on the top saying doctor. So they can't even have that excuse. I don't know what they're doing letting an unmarked car through in that situation. I really don't.
Listen, you can have a rant in a second. So Bailey, you're not wrong. Yes, you can see an ambulance, but I mean, that is far in the distance. So we have to assume then that this car stopped. The ambulance drove through the crowd till it got to here. The crowd reclosed up, and then this car started to what the frick? Somebody sending me, oh, it's Bailey again sending me alleged images of a sniper up in a tower, not in a tower, on part of Liverpool. Again, thank you for sending me that, Bailey. So the red smoke is for Liverpool FC. So there's a lot of red on the road. There's a lot of red that looks gory, right? But a lot of it is scarves and tops. So yeah, arguably we can see an ambulance here. But it just raises more questions if that's the case. Now, Uber, let's talk about exactly what you were saying there. Unmarked vehicles, right? And events like this, because these are huge events here in the UK. You know, the people take to the streets, especially in a place like Liverpool, especially when they win the it's like, you know, returning with the cup, right? So how in the hell, right? Amidst all of the headlines, okay? Amidst all of the headlines that have been going on, somebody brought it up earlier about our current Prime Minister's rent boy scandal.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Are we seeing a deliberate quenching of headline to replace with this traumatic event? What do you think is going on here?
Well, I mean, yeah, Chase Hughes always tells us to watch where our focus is being taken, and you know, with psyops and that. But somebody somewhere has dropped the ball. I mean, the ambulance had to get through armed guards. I'm assuming they must have done, because there'll be a perimeter. There'll be at least two perimeters. There'll be an outer and an inner.
Yeah.
So that ambulance had to get through basically two sets of security to get to where it is. So did that car. And the fact that it got past one, the guys letting that ambulance through shouldn't have let that unmarked car through. They should have been going, what the hell do you think you're doing? Where are you going? They didn't even seem to be asking. We don't know, but it doesn't look like anybody even attempted to stop him.
Dude.
And then that police car right up his backside when you're going into that crowd, that's them. It's been left to somebody in the motor to try and stop him, because everybody's dropped the ball, or somebody's really dropped the ball somewhere.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, 100%.
How the hell did he get through that security? It's just beyond me.
But here's the thing. I imagine, Uber, day one of police checkpoint training school is oldest trick in the book. Oldest trick in the book is somebody tailgating a freaking ambulance.
It is. I mean, the Romans used it. I mean, Hannibal used it, and people are still using it to this day, and they're still falling for it. So, you know, I just don't understand what happened to that security.
This is beyond forgivable incompetency, right?
I'm hoping it's just incompetence rather than the other, you know.
Well, we had somebody in the side chat just say that it looked like a guy in his 20s or 30s. Well, allegedly, it's a 53-year-old white male who was under the influence of substances, shall we say. I don't know if it's illegal substances or if it's prescription substances. Could be either, right?
Could just be alcohol. You don't know.
Well, no, they did specifically use the DURG word, but I just don't know. I just don't know if it's good old fashioned NHS DURGs or spicy. I don't know if it's the legal or the illegal cartel substances. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you'd think that it was prescription, they'd say pharmaceuticals rather than substances. Substances to me implies illegal, but I could, I could be misreading.
Hang on, I'll tell you exactly what it says. Oh yeah, look, here you go.
Because I noticed those two there, that press conference. That was a script, so I can't really go much off that.
Yeah,
because it was quite a well-written script.
Right.
Rehearsed as well.
So the man arrested for driving whilst unfit through drugs. That was the precise thing on the screen. That's on the screen just now for everybody. So I don't know if that is unfit through recreational or prescribed. I don't know. I imagine we'll find out more later, but it just seems this was yesterday, I believe. Light Connection out down in Liverpool, and just horrific. And any of you who've seen the footage, if you've seen the footage of this, it is proper traumatizing.
It's tough to watch.
It really is. Like, it's just. The devastation that a vehicle can cause is insane. You don't realize just how flimsy the human body is when it goes up against something where speed, motion, and weight It just
solid.
it's you're up against physics here. You know what I'm saying?
You're going to lose every time, aren't you?
Right?
Really?
100,000,000%. And when you just see people looking like bowling pins, people saying 53-year-old not the driver. Interesting. Honestly, there's something quite interesting in the fact that you've got the Stig as your picture and you're commenting on driving. I feel like I want to listen to you a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like I feel like
people are going to say all sorts.
I feel like Andy's got the inside scoop here.
If they've arrested a 53-year-old, he's not going to be arrested because he was sitting in the back being rolled around, is he? He's likely to be the driver.
Well,
so people
this is the first I've heard that there was more than one person in the car.
Okay, well, yeah, but the thing is, on whose authority?
Well, I mean, it's just the side chat's authority, really. I'm just going by.
because I mean, we can all
unconfirmed reports, shall we say?
Right. Yeah, I need confirmed reports before I can start making opinions.
Yeah, that's all right, mate. One guy rushed. I mean, there was 4 people trapped underneath that car, who were 3 adults, 1 child, who needed to be freed by the fire department. So I just want to paint you a scene here where a guy sat in his car on top of 4 people, and he's just sat in the car. Like, it just blows my mind. It blows my mind.
I didn't know that.
It really blows my mind as to how we all sort of react to things as humans.
Debatable with some people's behavior, but there you go.
Yeah, I'm just going through. Wait a minute. Here's some interesting footage.
I just don't understand. I mean, so many.
All right, so I've got
so many, visions come into my head about how this might have played out, so we could get through.
Well,
if they've let the ambulance through, why are they letting him through?
Well, here's a really interesting bit of footage, right? They've blurred out all the traumatized and stuff, everybody. Okay, so you can see the car down here, and we're going to cut to a bit of footage here of a guy trying to pull the car door open, right? We can see what we can see here, but so everybody, you can see the barricades here. You can see the barricades.
Right, there you go.
And in fact, Uber, you were talking about the 2 layers. So I imagine the fact that they've got this empty section between these barricades. You'll have the public here, a police response here, and then the next part, the public area up here.
Well, they'll divide it into sections. I mean, I come from a military family. I understand how a little bit of this works. So they'll divide that in sections, but there'll still be an inner and outer perimeter.
Yeah,
there always is.
Yeah. So here's a bit of footage I was talking about, right? So this is before he drives into the crowd. So you've got all these people wondering what the hell's going on. But what's interesting is we can see what's behind the vehicle here. So this gives us an idea of the options that it would have had to turn onto that road. And
how long it's taken for somebody to start chasing him, because that police car was right.
So here we go. Car door gets pulled open, and then they freaking blur it out. But you can see here, somebody goes to pull the car door open. This looks like this building here is round the corner this way, and this is the corner of the street here, if that makes sense.
But these guys here know something's up. That's why he's going for the door handle.
Yeah.
Why aren't the old Bill coming for him if the crowd knows something's up?
Is this?
And clearly they do, because why would you want to open the door of somebody's car like that? He knows something's up. That's why he's done that.
We've got the car here, and then we've got a shot of the. Oh no, that's a different.
This guy here in the black knows, and so does the guy next to him that lunges forward as well. They know in that instant there something's not right.
So I just want
to play to them for having a bash at it. I think.
I just want to say, everybody, they do blur out what comes next, but
there you go. He knows something's wrong.
Warn everybody.
He knows he's up to something.
So he drives off. I've got one guy chasing after him, a whole bunch chasing after him, throwing his bag at them, and then this is where he starts plowing into people. You can see how far back we've panned here. There is no ambulance in sight.
It's not. It isn't, is there? So the narrative they're giving us is absolute tosh, really. Isn't
because if we go back to here, right?
Feeding us tosh again.
When we go back to here, are we to believe that the ambulance has, and the only reason I'm saying turned in from up here on the corner of the phone store is because that's the only corner that I can see in shot. So we know there's a corner from there. It definitely didn't manifest from this building, right? So if we imagine that an ambulance has come around this corner, okay, and is in front of this car, for some reason this car has stopped, you can only the only thing that the ambulance narrative that makes sense is the ambulance was a way of facilitating the locking and loading of this weaponized vehicle. Then we have the ambulance going through, the people closing up around the ambulance, if that is indeed what happened, and then this guy plowing through. Something, as Uber said, something's obviously taken place to raise suspicions here. And I'm not being funny, but a freaking vehicle. I mean, we're told to be vigilant for bags that are out of place. Thank you, Bailey. Bags that are out of place in railway stations. I think people are going to notice a freaking family station wagon.
Yeah, and these guys obviously do. Look at, I mean, you know, fair play to these fellas.
Oh man, we've got a much better angle here.
You know, they had to go with it. They knew something was up, and everybody else around them was up as well. These guys absolutely know something's up.
See this,
They go for that crap.
Wait till you see this one. Right, so great shot, great one, Bailey. Cheers. So here we are again. This is the same moment of the incident that we were just looking at from a slightly different and prolonged angle. He's peeping the horn. So I just want to say, I'm pretty sure that guy said, "What are you doing?" Is he talking to the guy in the vehicle? Is that guy talking to the crowd that's at the car? Bam.
I think they were shouting at him, "What you doing? What you doing?" I think he doesn't look like he was saying anything.
Oh, whoa.
Is that? There's not a police officer in sight. Not a police officer in sight.
See, wait a second now. Look at this right now. I'm not going to play this. I'm going to take it back. So look here, right? So you can see there is an ambulance right here. So this is the ambulance that we could see. Hang on. This ambulance here, we could argue that this is how this car followed these people down here. But look how long this road is. So if this is where it all kicked off, and I'm telling you this is beginning to really.
There's nowhere near enough bright yellow jackets there.
No,
it doesn't look like there's anywhere near enough police there.
Hang on. Ron doesn't understand something. So So here's the car, right? It's parked and there's no ambulance, okay? Yeah? So car's parked, well, car's stationary, and there's no ambulance in front of it. Play the video. People want to know what's going on, why there's a car there. Open the door. Guys, open it. Car opens. You see this guy running with the jacket, running with the bag and throwing the bags. And then we cut to here. And you can see people throwing the bags and the jackets, but that building's not there to begin with. So is this, that first bit of footage is maybe from the very start when he started to follow the ambulance in?
He looked pretty determined in what he was doing. He was looking straight ahead when he drove off. So I think this to me looks premeditated, and I think those crowd members knew he was up to something.
Yeah, see, here's the thing, right?
He looked totally focused on where he was going, and that was ahead.
Okay,
forward.
So Bailey keeps sending me footage that traumatizes me, right? So we've got, if you look here, zooms in. There's the car. It's stationary, right? There's an ambulance behind it, right? There's a guy throwing a bag. You see the bag with the guy with the jacket, throwing the jacket there?
What, the red and white?
No, right at the very back of the car. You see his arm come up there. There's his little jacket being whipped at the car, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Ambulance behind it. No courthouse or building behind them.
You know what he's done? He's pinned that guy up against the front of the ambulance by the look of it.
But look. But then we go back to here. And there's, so is this piece
look at that guy that's raving his thing. He looks like he's pinned, bro. He looks pinned between the rear of that car and the front of that ambulance. That's why he's waving his thing to get him to push forward, go forward. That's what that looks like to me. You have a look. He's banging on the roof and everything.
Do you see this guy in the grey top with the yellow arms moving backwards and forwards on the screen here?
Right. Yes, with the black.
Just watch. He's running. And then in the blue circle, you can see someone whipping. See the black thing in the blue circle going up and down?
Yeah.
That is somebody whipping the top of the car with their jacket, right?
Right.
What I'm not understanding is the timeline of this. Because when we cut to this shot here, that's a goddamn building. Yes? You can see the
there's two separate incidents by the look of it. So twice the crowd has tried to stop him then.
So you can see the massive fancy building here. Okay. And then we cut to here. Yeah. Where the frick has the building gone? So
he's gone further down.
So where does this car come from? Where is it? Is it all the way down here that they've come along? I'm really confused because.
Well, it could have just come around this corner. I don't know how many corners there were, but that looks like two separate incidents, because there's one incident where he's got somebody pinned up against the front of that ambulance, from what it looks like to me.
Yeah,
and there's another incident where they're trying to open the door and there's no ambulance in sight. So that looks to me like two separate incidents. Yeah, so on two occasions,
the guy's not pinned. Can you see the other man moving freely between the car and the ambulance?
Zoom that in a bit more.
You see him? You see all the people moving freely?
Hang on, no, because you keep zooming in, mate. I can't.
No, there's no zooming in. That's just how it was filmed.
Oh, right, not you doing it.
So you can see.
You need to pause it then.
No, look. Do you see the Asian? Do you see the Asian dude right here with
in the front of the ambulance? Yeah.
And then he moves, just walks between the two. There he is. There. See? Oh.
Right. Yeah. I see that.
So no one's pinned, right? But you do get a guy whipping his jacket. I'm just pointing out the two similarities between the footage.
Oh yeah, he walks right through. Okay, so why is he banging on? So, yeah, so they're obviously already banging on his roof.
So, is this piece of footage and
no, I don't think it. I think they're separate pieces of footage, mate. I think we're seeing two separate incidents.
Hang on,
Because look at all the bright yellow jackets there. And if we look at it, where are the bright yellow jackets there? They're not there. This is two separate incidents.
I think this is, you sent me the same one 3 times, Bailey. Just so you know, mate. Oh, you want me to look at 33 seconds? Okay, hang on.
That only goes to 23. That, to me, definitely looks like two separate incidents.
I don't know how the driver's still alive.
Well, I don't.
Because there's a lot of angry Scousers.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, I could be right in thinking, where my cursor is here, that looks like what used to be the car door. You see what this guy's holding on to here, Uber?
Yeah.
You've got the 2 hands and then the black frame.
Yeah, they like maybe rip the door clean off. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, the door's probably come straight off, mate. Come here.
It's just wild. So again, I don't
choke him out and drag him out.
I do not understand the timeline of this, where these videos, these bits of footage were taken. I want to see.
Does it not have a time that they were taken somewhere on the file?
I don't know, but what I want is the police to. I want to see the full flight path, metaphorically speaking, of the ambulance and this vehicle. How many armed police checkpoints did they have to go through? How many?
Well, not enough by the look of it, isn't it? I mean, where are they all?
Let me guess. CCTV didn't work that day. Probably not. It's not difficult, Ron. You're right. It's not difficult, but they need to release their explanation for this, because right now we have got multiple bits of footage where the public seem to be trying to interfere and interject on what they can clearly see.
Be more than what the police are.
I mean, look at this footage again. Where the frick is this? There's not a single police person. There's no police there. Nothing.
No.
So
it's two separate.
Could this be right at the edge of where it all begins, and this is him about to go in?
Well, there was blue flashing lights there. Did you see it? And you see that phone store? I saw blue flashing lights in the reflection. That's his. There's the phone store there. On that screen, so failed the observation.
There's another car. Can you ask one to look at the people buying in his car? There's another car parked beside him with the tail lights on. Oh, yeah. Are they both the same car?
What?
Because I'll tell you what's interesting.
Yeah, there's another car there.
I'll tell you what's interesting, Malachi, right? We've got car in question, which also looks like car with tail lights on.
You know what I think he might have done?
Which also looks oddly like car parked in street in news coverage photo.
What?
Okay. There seems to be a lot of very similar. It seems like a lot of people.
Well, that's a Mercedes.
Are driving like gunmetal colored family cars.
Yeah, because they blend in.
So I just want to say, if I showed you this, right, the side on of this vehicle, gunmetal, 2 silver stripes on the top, right? 1 second. And then I said, this vehicle here looks similar, doesn't it? You'd be like, okay, yeah, gunmetal. Oh, yeah, it's got the 2 silver things, 2 stripes on the top. I would mistake that.
Oh, you think they may have been 2 of them?
No, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it's really odd that the only 3 vehicles that aren't police vehicles all happen to be gunmetal family sort of wagon
Oh yeah, well
things.
that's just it's a popular colour. You know what I think he might have done to get through is tell them that he lives down there.
We just
Because I know that, you know, I used to live somewhere where we used to get a lot of big famous people performing, and there would be, you know, barricades. And if you told them that you lived there, 9 times out of 10, they just let you through.
That is a Mercedes.
That's maybe what he's done.
That second vehicle is a Mercedes. So maybe the unmarked, maybe the unmarked copper cars were all big Mercs.
Could well be. I mean, it's not a family one, is it? I mean, that's a 4x4 SUV, isn't it? So,
well, I mean, it might be.
It could well be.
It
could well be, but they should be stopping that car before.
Well, yeah, but here I'm not being funny. It's if we're looking at the T word being ruled out, is it not really odd that the one car that broke through was suspiciously the same as what we're assuming?
No, I'm not going to read too much into that personally. No.
Yeah, you don't have to. I'm leaning in hard. I'm putting on an extra layer of tinfoil today, my G. Like, I'm sorry, but
I'm going to start wearing tinfoil hats at the poker table. See how that goes now.
There were 3 cars that area, including the suspects. Okay, 4x4 and a family car. It's a Ford Galaxy. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? When I say all the cars look alike, you've got to understand Ron is not a car person, right? I think most people, we have to assume, are not super car people. So if we were to drive past all of these 3 cars lined up, how many of us would differentiate from 3 gunmetal cars that all kind of look the same? Does that make sense?
No, that's true. I see what you mean. It's yeah, especially if they're big cars like that.
So it's a matter of what people will remember. Oh, I remember seeing a really odd positioned gunmetal car. Oh, don't worry, that was the undercover police cars for the day. Well, it just so happened to be the weaponized station wagon of doom. And listen, I'm just saying there's no such thing as coincidence. All right, there really isn't.
You just look at the context, though, to see if it really is a coincidence.
But I will say, this one that Bailey sent over, this shot, this angle here, look at how much road there is.
Yeah,
like, just look at it all, mate. So,
and look in that crowd. How many bright yellow vests can you see behind that? They're only there. That's all there is on hand to stop this lunatic.
So for me, all I'm saying is
6 coppers unarmed.
Yeah, they could all.
And this is after the crowd has attempted to stop this nut job.
100%. But it's just really weird that from the wing mirror up, they all look very much like similar cars. I don't know if it means anything.
They do at a glance. To somebody, I mean, especially to old ladies, you know, and women in general, because they don't have interest in cars. So it will just be another.
I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people, bro. See, that's the thing. Like, I swear to God, 0 car knowledge. Right? 0 car knowledge. So to me, if anyone asked, oh, did you see any suspicious vehicles around? I would say, oh, yeah, I've seen a lot of big silver ones or big gunmetal people carriers. And then they could quite easily say, oh, well, that was an undercover police car. And when you've
just think, well, he hasn't got a clue about cars, it's not worth talking to.
So when you say to me, Ron, why would they say that? Well, if you're actively reporting to the police suspicious activities of vehicles parked that happen to match the description of all the undercover vehicles, I imagine no one's going to listen to you. You see what I'm saying?
Probably not.
So when we have to live in a world where if there is conspiracy, we have to imagine that it's applicable to the 1%. So I would imagine 1% of the police force there would be included in said crazy conspiracy. So you would have to find ways of slowing down information on a suspicious vehicle without raising suspicion from the 99% who are actually there to do their jobs.
Well, yeah. I mean, it just. I'm getting the vibe of incompetency rather than corruption here. I really am.
Yeah, well, that's because you're still in freaking. You've still obviously got some good faith tokens left.
Well, I have
clutching at straws a bit. Those are big fat vines. Those aren't clutching at. That's a bloody good analogy of the color of those cars, mate. You know, trust me, man. Can you play? Yeah, I can play the other clip again. There's nothing that we can.
I think if somebody has got the brains to orchestrate this, whether collective or a single person, to premeditate this and plan it, so they would, if brains like that, they would find a better way to cause carnage than just jumping in a car and getting arrested. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. If you're gonna,
yeah, but who says it's carnage that they wanted to cause? Who says it was carnage?
Well, what else do you call running over random people if it's not carnage? No, I mean,
effective hijacking.
It looked like carnage from where I'm sitting.
Effective hijacking, right? Effective hijacking of headlines.
Right. Okay. But why?
Bailey, you're just sending me the same thing over and over again, Bailey. Just so you know, mate.
You know, for what? What you want to look at is what else is going on in the news then.
That's what I'm saying. And the Prime Minister being accused of like tallywhacking with freaking rent boys is pretty much up there, right?
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, from that point of view, I suppose you could. Yeah. I mean, it's not entirely out there.
Hang on, we've got the voice of reason coming in hard from the side chat. No, sorry. Just a guy high on drink and drugs, no patience trying to get through and ended up hitting people. Then fans getting annoyed at the driver, then drives through people as he panics.